If you can't get down to the floor without using your hands, you're 6 times more likely to die in the next 6 years. That comes from published research from over 2,000 adults tracked for decades. So it's not only about strength. Watch this. No hands, no knees, one fluid movement. You should be able to do this at 40, 50, 60, and beyond. It takes balance and coordination. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to get it back. But first, it's helpful to know why you lost it in the first place. And it's not what you think. Let me paint the picture. You're alone, you slip, and suddenly the thought that pops in your head shortly after what just happened is, can I even get up? This is the moment nobody ever thinks will happen to them until it does. But if you're over 40, the reality is simple. It's not only the fall that you should be concerned about, it's what happens afterwards. After 40, the ability to get up and down from the floor is the single best predictor of longevity. It's better than high cholesterol, better than high blood pressure, better than how much you can bench press. So why does everyone ignore it? Because it's uncomfortable. Because it's embarrassing. Because somewhere between your 20s and your 40s, you stop doing it. You sit in chairs, you drive, you might stand at a desk if you're lucky. But your ability to get down on the ground disappeared. But even worse is your ability to get back up. And what happens if you can't get back up? This fear is based in reality, and it's in the numbers. According to the CDC, more than 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls every year. Every 11 seconds, someone ends up in the ER because of it. And the worst part is, you fall once, and your odds of falling again double. It's a loop that feeds on itself. Fear makes you less active, less activity weakens your muscles, weaker muscles wreck your balance, and poor balance makes you more afraid to move. And around it goes until your world gets smaller and more delicate. Now here's a few numbers you may not be aware of. Falls are the #1 cause of traumatic brain injuries in older adults. They cause over 95% of hip fractures, and hip fractures are where things get dark, because 1 out of 4 people who fracture a hip doesn't survive a year. Let that sink in. A simple fall, something that lasts maybe a second or two, will rob you of your strength, your freedom, and your independence. You go from living on your own to needing help getting dressed, to maybe even needing long-term care. Not because of disease or even old age, but because your body is not prepared to get up and down off the ground. You want to add life to your years, the freedom to play with your grandkids, to get down in the garden, to travel without hesitation, to live in your home on your own terms. That future is bleak. So what's actually missing? The ability to confidently get up and down from the floor. And if you can't do it now, it's a warning sign that something bad is soon to happen. And I'm going to show you exactly how to rebuild it, starting with a test that can predict how long you'll live with shocking accuracy. So let's be clear about something. This isn't just my opinion. This isn't some theory. This isn't something I'm pulling from a random blog post. Everything that I'm about to show you is backed by legitimate scientific research, specifically the 2022 World Guidelines for Falls Prevention. It's a collaboration between top experts from 39 different countries, and their conclusion is that death from falls is not inevitable, it's preventable. And better yet, avoiding it is trainable. So how do we measure the thing that keeps you upright and balanced and strong? And that's where the sitting rising test comes in. Simple name, difficult test. At least it is for most people. It was developed by a physician in Brazil who wanted one test, just one, to measure overall functional fitness, strength, balance, mobility, and coordination, all in one test. Here's how it works. You start out standing. You lower yourself to the floor into a seated position without using your hands, your knees, or your arms. Then you stand back up, same rules. No cheating, no support, just you and gravity. It's scored out of 10. You start with 10 points, you get 5 points up, 5 points down. Each time you use a hand or a knee, or you get wobbly, you lose a point. Sounds easy. Try it and let me know how easy it is. It should be, but it's not. A study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology followed over 4,000 adults for more than a decade, and here's what they found. People who scored between 0 and 4 were almost 4 times more likely to die than those who scored a perfect 10. People who needed help getting up and down were 6 times more likely to die of heart-related issues. And maybe the most sobering stat of all, nearly half of the people who scored a 0 on the getting up portion didn't survive the study period. But don't let that scare you, because a low score isn't a death sentence. It's more like a wake-up call. It's a sign that key systems in your body, like your core strength, your leg drive, your balance, they've all lost power and coordination with the brain. The good news is that unlike most health tests, you can quickly and easily fix this one because it is a skill you can train. And you can start seeing results fast, sometimes in just days, not even months. And that's exactly what we're going to do. But before you pass a test, you've got to learn the movement behind it. So let's break that down. So how do we retrain this? How do you rebuild the ability to get down and get back up without relying on your hands, your knees, or your furniture? That's the goal. You don't want to just pass the sitting rising test. You want to own the movement with confidence. Now, if you're not there yet, you're not a failure. That's normal. You don't train for a marathon by running 26 miles on day 1, do you? You start with the fundamentals. And here's a fundamental movement: the side sit stand. It's simple, it's safe, and it works for almost every level. It's easy on the knees, it's easy on the hips, but if you can already get off the ground from all fours, then feel free to skip this section and jump to the next one. Still with me? Then let's get started. But before we start, we need to be able to do this safely. Best to practice this on a soft surface, some carpet, a yoga mat, or even a folded up blanket or two. No hard floors. And you may need a sturdy chair or a countertop nearby for support. Okay, so we'll learn this in reverse, starting with getting down to the floor safely. You want to start standing next to a chair, your feet approximately shoulder width apart. We'll step back with one leg into a lunge. Use the chair for balance if you need to. Lower your back knee to the floor, and now you're in a half kneeling position. Place one hand on the floor and the other stays on the chair if you need to. Then take your other knee back to where both knees are down. Put your other hand on the floor. Now you're on your hands and knees. Walk your legs back while shifting your hips to the side and lower yourself into a seated position to a side sit. Practice this a few times and use the chair as much as you need. Now it's time to get up. We're going to stay in this side sit position, legs down and off to one side. Push yourself up with your hands. Rotate to all fours. Bring one foot forward, and now you're back in that half kneeling position. Put your hands on the chairs for a strong base of support. Push through your front foot. Stand all the way up. Now that's a safe, functional floor to stand movement. That's the foundation. But the good thing is, over time, you'll start using the chair less, then maybe only one hand instead of two, and then just one leg for support. And eventually, you won't need any hands or knees at all. Getting up from the floor takes strength, and strength is a skill. So let's build the strength to do the movement. Here's an exercise that will get you where you need to be. Start out sitting in a cross-legged position on the floor. Place one hand on the ground beside you, push up on your heels and rotate your body towards a hand that's on the ground. Bring the other hand to the ground, and then your knees will follow around until you're on all fours. Step 1 foot forward, bring your torso upright, push through your front foot to stand up. Grab onto a chair or something to support you if you need to. To get back down, just do that movement in reverse. Lunge backwards, get your knee to the ground, then place your hands on the ground, bring your other knee back, push off with your hands, rotate back around until you're back in the cross-legged position. Do up to 10 reps, and when you can hit all 10 reps, we can make this a little bit harder. Again, sit in a cross-legged position, bring one hand beside you, lift up on your heels, rotate till you're on all fours. And at this point, we're going to lift our knees a little bit until we're in a bear crawl position. Then we're going to use a little momentum to step 1 foot forward, bring that foot forward, and then press up on your feet to bring yourself upright into a standing position. You're going to do that in reverse to get back down. Bring your leg backwards, flip your body around until you're sitting again. Do 10 solid reps and do it until it becomes easy. When this becomes easy, the sitting rising test itself becomes irrelevant. Because here's the thing, the sitting rising test is not an exercise, it's a test. It's an assessment to see what condition you're in. It's not so much about whether you can pass a sitting rising test, but whether or not you can get up off the floor without assistance. If you can work your way through these exercises I just showed you, you'll be above the standard because you'll have the strength, mobility, and the balance to get off the ground. Mastering this one skill just might be the most useful thing that you can do for your health, for your long-term movement, long-term strength, and lifelong independence. So if you can't do it right now, get started right now, because where you are now doesn't have to be where you stay.